Dreamers Welcome Podcast.
Dreamers Welcome Podcast. We back in the building, ladies and gentlemen. I got my CEO PESO, blessed and highly favored. Back in the Dreamers Den. Shouts out to Moves Media, man. I got one of my companions, partners, fellow friend, good fucking worker, entrepreneur, well-rounded man, definitely a staple in the city when it comes to his work. Can you please introduce yourself for the Dreamers?
Man, that intro is crazy.
Hey, man, it was on the fly, man, but it's all from the heart, though,
man, this is, well, let me say this. My name is Julian Cook with Cook Films, VintageMediaGroup.com, Julian Cook Photography, Forever Set Academy.
Don't leave that out.
Yeah, you can't do that. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just working, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
Just working, been working, continue to work. You've been working for a minute, man.
Man, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Fondest memory is just meeting up with you at J.O. and Far Out's crib, and we was talking crazy camera talk. And I tried my hardest to act like I knew what the fuck you was saying, and it just was like f-stops and aperture. Yeah, I'm just going off, dude. This shit look right.
Yeah. I remember we had that conversation, man. That was hilarious.
I was just like, look, bro, I'm off YouTube, and I'm just trying to make sure there ain't no grain, noise, and it looks straight. But nah, man, we've been rocking for a minute, bro.
Absolutely.
Like I said, even before I met you, bro, I was just catching wind of your work. You dinner is one of the first motherfuckers I seen with a watermark on pictures and shit like that. So,
man, I wouldn't say I'm the first. I know a few people.
But in my era, seeing shit posted, it was like.
But I appreciate it, yeah, man. I'm just, you know, being up under certain people, I've seen it. I'm like, man, you got to start doing that, man. A lot of cats was just taking pics and, you know what I'm saying? Not really watermarking it, man. So
definitely early learning the marketing, because that made me understand it too. Like, all right, niggas need a fly logo. Well, for me, it was like video intros and shit like that.
That count too, though.
Yeah, for sure. But nah, man, yeah, bro. Like you been, well, particularly in Dayton, you do a lot of outsourcing work. But in the city, bro, I just remember seeing your pictures, and then you was just a part of that wave of motherfuckers that didn't have that accessibility to a dope camera and getting flicks like that. You feel me? So like your flowers is definitely need to be given. Appreciate for sure, it, bro. I make sure I say that. Definitely. Man, so before we tap into it, man, we gotta, you know, get into your background, your history, where you're from, how was your upbringing for the people who don't know.
All right. Well, let's see. Originally from Dayton, Ohio. You know, so born and raised and whatnot. Sister, mom, dad, you know what I'm saying? I ain't have too much of a crazy life. I stayed right on Route 4. Born and raised, you know what I mean? So
wait, uptown?
Nah.
Down the way.
Down the way, yeah. You gotta be careful. Yeah, look,
you gotta specify, would you up or down?
Yeah, down. I was down. Listen, I'm telling you, I know people get passionate about that. Yeah. But, you know, had a simple life, man. Nothing too crazy. Just like anybody else, man, who was trying to make it, bro. So.
Yeah. So before the obvious of photography and the cameras, like kind of being like your profession, what was like early on? Like everybody got that like that dream aspiration they had youngin'. Was it sports? Was it anything else? Like what was you doing as a youngin'?
A lot of transitioning. So of course I thought, you know, with anybody, I thought basketball was the key. Mm-hmm. Found out real fast that wasn't gonna be the case.
What was your real fast moment? Mine was height. So
mine was when I had played in the AAU tournament and we were out of town and I had put up crazy. I think I had like maybe 13, 14 points. It was like maybe the half. I felt good, and then
that's crazy. AAU crazy numbers was 13, 14 points.
I mean, for me, that's what I was saying.
I get it though.
And then so I went up for a layup, came down on somebody's foot, rolled that ankle, and I'll be honest with you, I ain't been right ever since in regards to that. Like I haven't been able to play the way I want to play because of course I'm nervous of, you know what I mean, re-breaking that ankle and stuff. So it went from that to videography, camera. I've always liked it, so it wasn't never a situation where I didn't. I think I went to school for it. I went to ICB, you know what I mean?
Straight. Hold on. So you went to ICB because they got engineering and all that too, but you went for videography.
I went for video. I went for audio. Well, hold on. I went for video production, audio engineering. Right. You know how they give you two. Mm-hmm. So I did that because I also was trying to rap, and that was short lived as well. It was. I'm nowhere close to it. And
we'll skip through that question.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
We'll skip through that.
And then so I did gravitate to the video aspects of it, and then of course photography. So you know.
So what was the first initial, like you said, you always liked photography and videography, but what was the first initial, like, I need to learn more of this and invest into it so I could do this?
Okay, so, you go to school and, they give you equipment to use and stuff, and I'd use that and you can rent it out. And, I did some stuff in Atlanta.
No, but prior to the school, though.
Prior to the school,
what just made you be like, I want to go to ICB and learn videography or photography?
Oh, man. Okay, so when I was younger, my dad gave me a camera, VHS.
I ran through them.
You run, with the little tapes and all that.
Yeah, the red, yellow, white cord.
Yeah, and so so what happened is I was pretty much at all the functions, taking photos and recording, even when they didn't want me to.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, I always just had a passion for it. When I was in high school, I did how they used to do the news. I was running the cameras for the news in high school or whatever you want to call that.
Morning announcements and shit like that. Yeah.
So I was on that, and then from there, I said, man, I want to make money from this. It went from there.
So going to ICB, I've heard a lot of different. I was about to try to go to ICB, but I heard a lot of different stories about people wondering if ICB was worth it or not. But do you think that was like a great stepping stone for you to get into this?
I think, man, for anything or any type of schooling or any type of knowledge, you have to put the footwork in, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the school's gonna give you the resources, but you still got to put the work in. You should know that as more as I know. When you come into it and you're trying to do videography, right? Yeah. And after you graduate, they like, all right, you're good now. And you assume that the jobs are just gonna start rolling in. You still got to do the footwork, the groundwork.
Yeah, you can't just graduate. Things coming.
You can say I got a degree. I got the degree. So why ain't you hiring me? It ain't like that. So it's kind of a journeyman type of situation. You actually got to put the work in, and you got to have work to show.
Yeah.
And so I think that for ICB, a lot of people may have had the perception that I'm gonna go to school, they're gonna give me everything I need, and then I'm gonna just take off.
Yeah.
And they wasn't technically putting the footwork in it. So for me, I had a great experience, great instructor. He's still there, by the way. Shout out Tyrone.
I think I met Cuz before.
Oh, you should have. I mean, he's been doing it for God knows how long. And late nights, I'll be in there after the class is way gone. He's closing up, and I'm in there just.
Taking advantage.
Yeah,
like
trying
full-blown computers, all that. They always had the top of the line.
Especially
shit,
at that time, man, because I didn't have a lot of the stuff. Like, they were using dual deck recorders and stuff. You ain't got that at home.
Yeah.
Like now, how it's a lot easier to just have it on a laptop. So having that and super VHSs and stuff, like I didn't have access to that, so I had to lock in and stay there. Man.
That's season opportunity. I mean, if you got access to it, anybody tripping, and, shit, being a motherfucker. So they kick your ass out pretty much.
And that's what he did every other night. He's like, all right, man, we got to go. I'm like, damn, all right.
So even with, you graduating, and like you said, people think that it's just, milk and sugar. I mean, shit is just sweet. Like, I'm about to go on or whatever. Mm-hmm. What was some of your tactics of, like, getting the footwork going? Like, what did you start to do to be like, all right, I got the degree, but now I got to build up a resume? So how did you start off, like, getting out there with the work?
Man, and a lot of people hate to hear this, man, but you gotta do free shit. You gotta do some free shit.
I did a lot of that shit.
You got to, man, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but you got to. So I just started doing some free stuff. Very crazy story. It really kind of catapulted me into really taking it serious. Is I went to Atlanta, did this little movie or whatnot. Now, mind you, they had their own equipment, so I didn't have to worry about that. So when I came back, I had $200 in my account, bro. And so I had ran to Best Buy, and I spent that $200 on like this bundle package. It came with a camera, a 2 gigabyte SD card.
2 gigs.
2 gig. That lets you know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and a tripod. You know what I mean? And so I grabbed that and I was shooting. I was dealing with Flam on some stuff. I tried to shoot my first video with him, and that was a crapshoot, bro, because I just wasn't there. I didn't have the knowledge, the experience. So he ended up hitting me up. He's like, hey, man, can you do the behind the scenes work with me at this shoot or whatnot? My man Fago gonna shoot it. Woo.
Oh, shout out to Fago, the double O.
My guy,
man. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. It's snowing. I grabbed my little bag. You couldn't tell me nothing, bro. I swear, I was on one.
Yeah.
Walking there with my bag. I'm unpacking my bag. Never forget the story. So Fago introduces himself. he comes over and looks at my stuff. He's like, yeah, okay. So, I see you doing your thing. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And then he hit me with the, where do you put your microphone?
What are you talking about?
Man, listen.
Hey,
so I said,
when they stump you with shit like...
Yeah, so when I did that, I'm looking at the camera. It didn't have no ports. It literally had a little camera, a little microphone on top of the camera.
Yeah.
That was it. It didn't have no auxiliary ports or nothing. And I was like, man.
And Fago's background, because he came through, I see him with some shit. I'm like, bro, this
he definitely
heavy ass cameras.
He slapped me in the face quite a few times. But he definitely, this is what I'm saying. It was that moment when I was like, at this point, bro, he'll never, no, I'm on one.
Yeah, you come,
I promise you.
Extensive research.
And so I did. I tapped in and I did that because, he kind of kept it cool. He's like, all right, man, that's cool. Dapped me out. I'm sitting there. I felt like shit. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm sitting there recording with he had the whole little rig joint with the
man, everybody had
the T2i.
Them. Yeah, the whole
matter of fact, he might have had a Mark. I don't even think he had a T2i. He might have had a Mark.
Bro.
Mark 5.
Really?
I swear he might have had a Mark.
Nah, it had to be like a 7D or a Mark II.
No, it was a 7D.
Yeah, it had to be a 7D.
My bad.
That's what I started off with. I had a 7D. That was like top of the line.
7D.
Right there.
He had the 7D. So me.
For y'all who don't know, we talking about the Canon 7D style camera. We just throwing out numbers and letters and shit.
You're right.
It's like people get confused with that. But go ahead. Though. So you said he sunned you with the microphone talk.
He sunned me. After he seen it, you could tell he got me. He's like, he kept it funky, did his thing or whatnot. And I'm there trying to get my little footage and shit. And so later on that night, I packed that shit up so quick and took that back to Best Buy. And I had hustled and grind to get like maybe about $800. Mm-hmm. That's when that T2i came into place. And from there,
start scaling up.
I never looked back.
Yeah, that
T2i never looked back. I kept doing it.
Man. That's still. I remember I had to use that one time, and that's when after I learned the functions after the 7D. But that T2i was a beast, man. Like
definitely was a beast.
That was getting the job done.
Definitely getting it done. And man, honestly, man, a lot of people at the time when we were doing that and whatnot, a lot of people wasn't looking to invest $1,000.
Not at all.
Nothing like that crazy on no video stuff, man.
And that was just the camera.
That was the camera. We ain't got.
I didn't even know about the lenses. Like shouts out to Ryan Lightborn because he the one that sold me my first camera, and he charged me like $1,000 used. But that motherfucker, I shot 80% of my videos with that shit.
Did you have that red ring? You had the red ring lens?
Nah, I had the 50mm 1.4.
Oh, that's a nifty 50, bro.
Which is a fucking crazy. That's like a 50mm using on every video is like driving around on 4 donuts on the car. It's not supposed to.
Absolutely.
It's not supposed, you supposed to interchange that shit. And I'm like, or I'm gonna get a wide angle, and I'm like 20 feet back trying to get the whole shit.
It just made you have to work for your shots, bro. You really had to work for every shot you wanted, man.
Yeah, but it helped me though, because then when I did get hip to the wide angle, that's when I got that L series, and I'm like, holy shit.
I remember when you had that.
Oh, bro.
That low key put the jumper cables on me.
Hey,
I ain't have a red ring. I didn't have a red ring. I didn't have an L series in my bag. And so I said, oh, okay, all right.
But that came from me just talking to a lot of people, and then
tapping in.
And then I remember one dude was just like, yeah, you got to get the one with the red ring on it. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, yeah.
Seen the price range, and I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a different type of glass. It was real.
Yeah, for sure. But then I upgraded to that 5D Mark III.
Was it two or three?
No, I had a 3.
You had a 3?
Yeah, and that was a game changer too.
So the beautiful thing with you, bro, you stuck with Canon until you went to Sony. I jumped around. I went Panasonic, Lumix, Dre. Shout out my man Dre.
Yeah.
Dre shot this. He had, when he was doing his and he had it, he's like, bro, this is it. So I got rid of all my Canon stuff.
Man.
Ran to Panasonic. And it was cool. But something about that Sony, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, 2 reasons I stuck with Canon so much was, one, the person that I bought it from, I seen everything he did with it from photo and video. Mm-hmm. So it just was like, I got a problem with like switching up on something if I don't really need to switch up, because I was already killing shit with the Canon. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, this about to learn this front to back, and just, I learned that camera inside and out. Like, I was on the swivel with it. But then Sony came out, and I remember I was in LA. Smoke had a video shot with somebody else, and he had the A7 III, and I seen that playback, and I'm like, oh yeah, this Sony ain't it, bro. And I'm just not the type of nigga to be behind on shit. Like even if I don't got the top shit, I'm gonna manipulate it to where it's gonna be the top editing or something. I'm gonna for sure.
Post is key.
Nigga, I seen that. I watched the footage in the viewfinder. I'm like, fuck this Canon, bro. The Canon ain't Canon no more. You feel me?
It ain't.
I mean, now they got some nice mirrorless shit now, but back then that was like 2017.
It took them a minute to catch up.
I was like, nah, fuck this. But yeah, so you converted into Sony. But okay, so
I know I went on a tangent. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But photography was first or videography that got you like really rolling?
Scene wise,
yeah,
it would be videography.
Okay.
And then I kind of gathered. I've always liked photography, but then I wanted to hone in on it and master it instead of just taking pictures. Like I really wanted to learn photography, and so that or whatnot. So instead of trying to do one, because some people like, oh, I only do this or I only do that. I was like, I'm just gonna try to tackle taking care of both of them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of videography, and then I went into photography.
Yeah, I obviously I did videography first, then photography. Yeah, I got a funny story. You remember I called you when I was in Atlanta panicking?
Yeah, I do. I remember that.
Hey, so man, I was down there. Shouts out the Marseille team. It was a fantasy football premiere, and I usually do a videography, but they was like, "Yo, Kelly Rowland want pictures," and they just want me snapping. Man, I called Cook so fast. Bro, I need to know the settings. Like, it's a low light atmosphere.
Yeah.
You text me some shit like put it in auto or
aperture. Throw it in aperture mode. Yep.
Man, I was panicking so much, and mind you, they waiting on me to take the picture, and I'm doing sample shots on the phone with you. I'm like, oh, I think I got it.
I remember that.
But I respect your expertise on that photography, bro, because like. Yeah, you mastered that shit.
I'm working. I'm still grinding. It's still a working process, man. Like
it's a never-ending learning process.
This whole thing, none of this.
Like,
I'm about to say all of this we do is not. Listen,
Yeah.
as soon as you feel like you mastered it, bro, they come out with something new. You like, oh.
and we at a level of respectfully what we can afford to do it. Like, seeing some top-notch shit.
It's still tears. So when someone see me with my little setup, they like, man, I'm like, yeah, they only if they knew,
I'm on level 30 of 100. I'm scaling up type shit.
And you'll get a taste of reality when you actually in front of some of that. Like you're in front of a red camera, you're in front of some ARRI lenses, and you're in front of certain things. Like you like, yeah. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, but we masters in manipulating shit. That's what I call it, man.
Yeah, definitely, man, absolutely.
So when you say you was doing like free work and stuff like that, what gigs was you like taking on first? Like, because I know you do a lot of candid photography, event parties. You doing headshots now, but what was you doing at the time to just take on whatever?
Same thing, bro. Like I would go to, if it was an event, a party,
Hammer Jacks.
Oh. And you remember that?
Yeah.
I was about to say you remember that? Because
yeah.
I remember being there even then with my camera and stuff and just capturing that. So hanging around the 1913 crew.
1913.
Yeah, man. And just being around them, I literally would get off from work. I would work from 2 to 10. Get off at 10 o'clock. Meet them down.
The cannery.
At the cannery, bro. All night. And, of course, we either go downstairs to therapy or we going to Hammer Jacks. And I literally I'm right there. I literally was their personal...
Yeah, you was there.
Content creator.
That was a long run y'all had going on. Like, just... crazy content. The studio was in there too, I believe.
Yep.
JR was producing heavy.
Yep.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
All of them were there, and literally, like I said, if they wasn't producing music or whatnot, they just wanted to go chill. I'm capturing them. I'm down there, and we at the therapy or whatever. or Hammer Jacks. I'm just taking pictures and video. So like, if I can find these hard drives, it's probably just footage of just raw footage of them just being silly, doing what they do, man. It ain't even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would do that for the longest, and then if it was something going on, here's the thing, here's the play. If you got a camera and people know who you are, I literally would just come in like, hey, can I, and nobody usually turns down free photos and free content, so they'd be like, yeah, come on. So I would literally tap in and just capture photos and video, and then I would post them, and people would kind of come back
tap
to me.
in.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask you what was like some of your marketing tactics, but I mean that's pretty much what I had to do too, because now it's kind of easier to just come out of the woods like, hey, I do this, because it's cameras is doing most of the work now for us, but back then, bro, it was really like
you had to know what you were doing with it.
Yeah, for sure. You had to know them settings. It was like analog and digital type shit, but it just was like, man, I'm grateful that I went through stages of shit and flip cameras and JVCs and shit like that.
Yeah, you need that. It makes you a better person in regards to just knowing and being knowledgeable. Because like I said, if I was to throw a camera at you, it didn't have all the new settings and stuff, and I said, hey, I need this out of you. You know, you give me a moment. I can, and you can kind of tie in the two and do that. And so, like I said, or scenario basis. So we do a lot of guerrilla, filming and videography and stuff and photos. So we don't have always a structured lighting. We don't always have set up where it's always going to be, the perfect lighting and perfect stuff. So we have to make sure we adapt and accommodate. So having that knowledge to know, like, damn, maybe I need to go this, or let me drop my f-stop, or I need to do this because of this, or the lighting is this, and just knowing those things,
being
that's
on the swivel.
Yeah, that's where just being out in the field and getting that OJT. On the job training.
Let's go.
Yeah, getting that. That's where it's
guerrilla working.
Yeah, got to get that in, man. So
let's talk about how you have implemented, your work process, because now it used to be just being on the laptop, but I know you have made it to where you can do editing on your phone, on your iPad, and your laptop though.
Oh yeah.
So I just want you to explain to people why it's important to just make sure you on the fly with having different types of ways to really just have an easier workflow going and utilizing everything around you.
So let's say this for photography, I would use that more so because with videography, if you got a laptop,
yeah. I mean, you can throw some shit in CapCut maybe, but that was towards photography though.
So for photography, which I've been trying to tell you, man, I'm like, man, you got to get you an iPad, you got to get you an iPad
with the pen, yeah, that's coming next though.
So just tapped in on it. You get you an iPad, the one you can use the pen. They have Lightroom. That's the key.
Yeah,
you got Lightroom. And they pretty much got a whole Adobe suite that you can put on the mobile or your iPad.
Yep.
So editing, it gives you some of the same features that it will when you're on the desktop. And then what you can do is when you save it, because it's on the cloud, when I do get home, it'll be on the laptop and I can finish it off the way I need to on the laptop. So that's just me being able to kind of work on the fly. Sometimes if you got a dope pic, or we took some pics and you're like, man, I'm not going to wait all the way till when I get home to want to try to put that together. I can kind of figure out some stuff right there and make sense of it and then put it together like I need to.
Yeah.
So, when you got more professional and you're dealing with clients, then I understand that. But like on the fly, just having that, or if I'm on the road, I'm able to kind of do the edits that I need to do on particular photos on my iPad and then save it and then export it when I get to my laptop.
Yeah.
So yeah,
man. And then another thing I want to ask you too, man. You very business savvy. Like in our group text, you be kicking off like your tactics and certain stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So was that just trial and error, or did you ask around like how people do certain pricings, or like how did you get to the point to where? Because you got a solid like this is it. And when I read it, I'm like, bro, this makes so much fucking sense.
Oh yeah, so it's pretty much checks and balances, and then like the second part of that is like I said, just tapping in and doing the research and looking at some of the other people who's already done it, and then kind of making sure that it accommodates to what you're trying to do. So I use a lot of elements that certain people may have brought to my attention. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I'm gonna add that or whatnot, and then make a solid structure so that I stand on that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when someone asks, I already have it set in place. Like this is what it is, or whatnot. So we ain't got to do the back and forth.
And you got it for a specific, like, because you got event pricing, you got headshot pricing, you got some shit. You got a nice
weddings,
breakdown. Yeah, wedding.
Because everything is different.
That's like the most difficult to me. Like,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Wedding photos, you don't want to price wedding photos the same as you would if you were doing an event at an arena or something. You see what I'm saying? Like
absolutely.
It's not the same. It's not going to get, and the expectation of work is not going to be the same. So you have to make sure that you're able to categorize what you're going to do so that they have an understanding. Because if you just tell them a flat rate, you might be shooting yourself in the foot.
You will be shooting yourself in the foot.
Absolutely, because you took on I'm just taking photos for a couple hours, not knowing the work and and what's going to be required of you to do from that afterwards. So yeah,
man. So you so obviously photography, you crazy as fuck at that, but if I'm not mistaken, you shot your first film with Jason.
Yeah, shout out to Jason.
Yeah, so
appreciate.
Let's talk about, because I feel like you study more photography more than videography, or I mean maybe a slight balance, but I always think photography when I think about you, respectfully, because that's like but your videography dope too. But I remember, what's this video you shot with like Coach or something?
Ghost of a Gangster. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, bro. That was I saw that like, shit. I gotta come back for something stronger.
You definitely did though. And you definitely did, man. And that was
a friendly competition.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It wasn't like
no beef
like
that. No. I mean, here's the thing, man, and I kind of stand on it. And I know because right now everybody's doing videography to a certain extent, and everybody's doing photography to a certain extent. And nothing against none of the the young guns coming up and whatnot, but I mean, I kind of feel like I'm past that time in regards to just doing music videos. So if you came to me and you like, I want to do a music video, in regards to the way that music videos are done now, I'm not gonna probably be able to give you that. I mean, I'll probably be able to resource it and try to put it together, but a lot of the things that the new videos want and stuff, you know what I mean, for me. And I don't like I said, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, but I'm not a big fan of it.
Me neither.
And
I vocalize, like, I don't like it. I came up watching, Benny Boom and Hype Williams and all of that shit. I like that cinematic shit, even if it's Myers. The bitch walking in the G-Unit sweatsuit. Like, I like nice, solid shit that just is cohesive, even if it ain't no crazy shit. But all of this one head into five heads, like, hey, bro, like, come to me when you want that real quality shit.
I bug that, all the trippy stuff. Which,
some shit I will say, like, all right, this was dope, that was cute, but I'm not about to go OD. And you know what I mean?
It's a lot.
Like,
it's a lot, and it takes away from the actual. I'll be honest with you, because it's all post, so it takes away from the actual cinematography.
It's taken away from the song. You down there just watching the video, just mesmerized by that, rather than
basically mesmerized record. By a lot of After Effects, and that's what I'm saying. So for me, I'm just in a different direction with doing it now. I'll do music videos, but it's got to make sense.
And same here, and I gotta like it,
and I gotta, and I do, and it's nothing like I said. But man, we've been doing this for a while, bro. So like for me to just still be doing that and not have some level of growth,
which is why I got into film heavy,
and so that's why the movie thing makes sense. And shout out, like I said, to Jason for giving me the opportunity. We've been going back and forth about doing it, and he's talked to me, and so this was something that was definitely a couple of years in the process. We went back and forth, but when he he went ahead and said let's do it, I was humbly excited to do it and take it on, and I'm excited about it, man.
Yeah, I done seen some parts of it though.
Yes, sir.
Man, so even going into like, because with that being your first film, going into it, what was some of the thoughts and what was some of the preparation that you maybe have done to get ready to, like, it's not a 3-4 minute music video, this is like
correct
60-90 minute joint, you feel me?
With dialogue.
Yeah.
With dialogue.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been on set and done movies and actually been a part of movies and documentaries and stuff like that. I think what it is when this is yours, like this one is me, you know what I mean? And so
it hit different.
Yeah, it's a little different in expectations, and you want everything to be a certain way, how it is, and how you want certain things. You like certain shots a certain way, you want the color correction a certain way, it's just all the above, right?
Yeah.
And so when you have to take on all of that, it's a little different than, like I said, just being a part of a movie or helping out. I did some video footage for you, and then, I'm going about my day, and I'm not sitting there in post with you. I'm not sitting there worried about the audio. That's up to you to figure out. So it definitely is different. I'm very excited. We're very close to finishing that up. We're still in the, we're in post, of course, but very excited. And I'm nitpicking it. I don't care because, it's
I mean, it got to the point I had to do that what got my hustle up and I was learning that as I went. But yeah, bro, our name on it, bro. And like, and it's a lot of investing that Jason did too with a lot of these films. So it was just like, taking the time to nitpick and shit. It might be a fucking process, but outcome always dope though, man. Man, I want to ask you something. This is more of a personal question, but you've always, well, from my eyes, has been just a team of you. And then maybe about up to a year and a half ago, we all created the Academy, Favorite Set Academy. Shouts out to Dre, shouts out to Lee John, shouts out to Rome, shouts out to Cook, shouts out to me.
Hello.
But
We set.
Was that a different type of, like, how am I trying to ask it? Was it difficult just trying to start working with a team base? Because I'm gonna be honest, to me it was, but it was easier because I knew y'all and y'all work and it was trustworthy. But I think one of my setbacks has been I've always done a lot of work myself because I never really, until later on, trusted like you really need a team, you know, to really take it further.
Honestly, man, everything we do, you have to have a team, man. You know what I'm saying? And so,
always a team, but this is like the academy is the first, like,
and I know for you because we've talked about it, and you know we kind of discussed it and the struggle with just, I don't want to say letting go, but allowing others to do, allowing others to do their part.
I'm supposed to let you watch my newborn, cuz.
But you know what I'm saying? But just allowing them to do their part that you know they're supposed to do. That's the key, because you know then you see yourself quickly wanting to jump in and say, let me just do it, or I'll just take care of it. So it was a little challenging at first for me, but you know because I know the quality of work you do, and Dre, and the cinematography that you know Lee John does, like it wasn't as hard for me to be like,
yeah,
I don't know if I want to let him have this. So it was new. So of course, with anything being new, it did take a moment to kind of gather that. But and afterwards, it was like shit. And like I said, we all know each other. We've
no egos. It's cool.
So for me at this point, you know, it was easy to kind of just transpire that, you know, and I like the unity that we have. So for that, because we all are unique in our own space, it just made sense to, you know, so it's not a overlapping of egos or personalities. It's not an overlap.
Yeah,
everybody kind of knows what they do best, and everybody respects that. So,
nope. That's why I'm appreciative of it. Like, first team base, I was rocking with this one. Like, cool. Try to be forward, and it just was like, man, catch up, mustard. Jesus Christ. But man, damn, I just had the question in my head. Oh yeah, so when it comes to getting booked for events, and I don't, you don't got to answer it if you don't want to.
It's all good. Come on.
But what's events that be like, hell yeah, I'm with this shit. And then what's events that be like, motherfucker? like God damn.
So it's, I don't even think it's the event. I think it's the pricing. I think it's the pricing that they want. Yeah. I don't even think it's the event, man. If somebody wanted me to do their bar mitzvah, bro.
Oh yeah.
If the money's right, you know, and it makes sense, and you know they're respecting my time.
I'll do a C-section if the money right.
But you know, I feel you know. But that's what I'm saying. But it has to make sense.
Yeah.
And so instead of chasing the money, you know, at this point in my career, I just want to do things that are going to be beneficial to the overall for me.
Brand, the resume.
Overall, man. And so if it was like, man, can you do this I need a 2-scene music video. We're going to do it down here on Gettysburg real quick. I'll probably turn it down, bro.
Because they already
disrespect.
They already talking to cheap mind state.
Yeah,
anyways.
and I'm already, and there's no disrespect to whoever would want to do that. What I'm saying is, it's just for me. It's like I know that I ain't gonna like how it's gonna possibly turn out because everything is kind of unplanned. It's just we rushing and running, and I'd rather have more structure.
And 2 hours turn into 5 hours. And
then you got to count the posts. And then you got to count the posts. And so for me, it's more being selective of what I take on, more so than doing just any and everything. So it has to make sense. And, if it feels good to me, I'll take it on. If the money makes sense to me, I'll take it on. If it doesn't, or I feel any bit of it being sketch, and, I'm usually referring them out. I got a couple people I'm like, hey,
Yeah. Man, back to the film. That's another question I had about the filming, though. So, even with this one being your first with Jason, is that something that you want to continuously do as well? Like, try to shoot more films, maybe put one under your belt by yourself?
Absolutely. So, at this point, like I said, we should be progressively moving forward in our careers and doing videography, even yourself. So, that's not to say we won't go back to do certain things. I get that, but we should still be moving forward. So, yeah, definitely I want to look to do another movie. I know that we had talked about collaborating
definitely
on a film or whatnot, coming soon or whatnot that Jason was talking about, as well as I've already got maybe 7 to 10 treatments and scripts saved for short films and films that I want to try to do.
Yeah, we was talking a minute ago.
About that, and it's some stuff that I really want to, and I have them. So I constantly, whenever an idea comes, I write it down, and then I'll kind of lock in on it, and I'll sit on it or whatnot until like I said, maybe the time is right. The thing is that I think some of these other things that I have in place will come furthermore after I get this first one done.
Yeah.
I want to get this one done. I want this to kind of set the tone for my work ethic and my expectations on what needs to come from me after this.
Yeah.
So I want to do that, and then
totally understand.
Yes, sir.
Man, so this is a question for the up and coming photographers, man. What's like a top 3 check off the box list that these photographers now really need to do in order to be successful? It could be top 4, top 5, or the top 1, but what's the advice to them?
Top 3, man. Let me see. So first thing is, man, you have to be hungry, man. You got to be hungry for this. And the reason why I say that is because it's not going to be handed to you. The fact that you purchased a camera, it's not going to be instantly handed to you. And if it is, you still need to be prepared to take on whatever you're booking yourself for, because all it takes is a few bad situations, man, where you didn't do what you need to do or whatnot, and now you're in the hole. You got to pull yourself out of it, because that's all it takes. There's too many of us out here. Mm-hmm. So, unlike when it was back in the day, it was it was a handful of people I knew who was really doing it. So you had to kind of cycle through them. But now so your work,
these phones and turn niggas into photographers.
I see it. I see them. They pull them out in a minute. But like, shit, I did a whole video.
Yep.
So I think that's the case, man. Just being hungry, being dedicated, because it is gonna be hard times, bro. It's gonna be times where the money ain't coming. You know what I mean? You got 4 or 5 jobs in front of you, and then you still taking on 2. Like, after I get done with this, I got two events I need to take care of today. So I get it. It's just being able to be consistent, hungry, dedicated, and you got to see. I think this is another thing, bro. A lot of people take on the camera but don't have people skills. And
it took me a minute to get that.
We're gonna call it customer service. So when you think about, like, you could be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't know how to talk to somebody, which is the person who you need to talk to one, seal the deal for the the contract or whatever the case may be, booking. If you don't have that, man, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot again, because they like, man, I don't like how he come off, or I don't like his approach, or I don't like the way he does business, because he doesn't know how to coordinate his business. And so you got to have that too. So have some type of people skills, customer service skills, because it is going to be times where your clients are not going to be happy, or they want you to redo it. And listen, and so you hot, but you got to do it, man. You got to do it, because, like I said, the moment you acting like you ain't, or you're not going to provide that customer service, man. Like I said, man.
Yeah, and I want to add one to that too. With know your worth, man. Know your worth.
And that's gonna take time, man. That's gonna take time.
It's gonna take time. It's gonna take evolving. It's gonna take you being dope.
Experience, equipment.
Investing, but know your worth, because that phrase, "you are what you negotiate," or "your worth what you negotiate," that shit is fucking true. Because I done got short-ended a few times.
And you know what, man? That's cool. And
unless
we
it's
all
for the
have
opportunity.
But we have. Sometimes it is. Sometimes, if it's the opportunity in front of you, like, this makes more sense, because, this could be resume work. This could be... So, you'll take those, but it still has to make sense to you.
Right.
It still has to make sense. If it doesn't, then I'll tell you not to take it.
Yeah, because once you're in that bracket, it's hard to get out of it.
Absolutely.
I was just telling one of my G's that, like, bro, you got to up that price from that $250, $300, because they gonna be, well, can you do this for $150 for less hour, man? And beat the block.
Hey, you got to go, man.
Fuck that.
I ain't got nothing for you over here. I know a few people who can do it though, but
man,
absolutely.
Man, so what's the up and coming, man? We on 3rd quarter right now, going on 4th, man. What does Cook Films, Cook Photography got coming up, man?
Man, we got the basement. I've had a studio for a while. I know I haven't really put too much out of that. If you've been there, you've been there. The basement. So, starting to actually kind of get that up and running so that people can start utilizing that more so. Finishing the movie, starting a new movie, and honing in on the photography. So, that's kind of what it is going on, whatnot. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm pretty booked. Blessed by that.
Yeah,
I ain't
I'm
gonna
about to say,
lie,
that's a
blessed.
blessing.
That's a blessing. So I'm blessed by that. But now managing, your bookings and your time, because that's the key too. Making sure you don't overbook yourself.
Definitely.
So yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I want to make sure that I do more so moving forward.
And we got some academy work coming still, y'all.
Yeah, we got that coming
That's
real soon.
always going, yeah.
We got that real soon.
Man, last question, man. I asked everybody, man, what's a good quote or piece of advice you live off of?
That's a good question. Dang, you got me there.
I got another question I'm about to start asking too. I might need to test that out. Let me see. But go ahead though.
I got two of them, man. Never compete is how you compete.
I like that.
If I never compete, then technically that's how I'm competing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
your own lane.
And just always just stay in that, regardless if you think someone else is doing better or doing something. Maybe it just ain't for you. Maybe it ain't your time. Yeah. Maybe it ain't just meant for you right now. Not to say it can't come to you later, but just stay in that lane, man, and work that niche, whatever that may be. I want to say one more, because I wrote these down. I knew you was going to ask that.
It's a key component to the pie.
Never let your emotions supersede your intelligence. And so,
I said break that down.
So, like, when you think about it, right? When you do stuff and you're emotionally invested, you got to make sure that you kind of keep a healthy balance to not allow it to justify your intelligence or questioning your intelligence to others. So, for that, I just say that, make sure that you kind of be able to keep the two balanced. That's not to say you can't be emotional. I just say that you need to make sure that you don't correlate the two together. Your intelligence and being emotional. So that
make perfect sense. So, you gotta know how to separate it before you do make permanent decisions from temporary feelings.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. So you got to be careful when you're applying emotion to what you're doing or who you're dealing with or however you're dealing with them, because I'm telling you, that could shoot you in the foot too. Especially being that we're in a business of service. We're providing a service. So we have to always have to be on that.
So many shots in the foot, might as well get it decapitated.
Hey, we over here, we limping.
Yeah, you feel me? Like, God damn, just cut the foot off, man. Fuck it. But, man, Cook, man, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate your transparency, man. I'm glad to be working with you as a partner. We got a lot more work coming up, bro. And,
definitely.
We just trying to, shape and mold the city to look great. That's what we here. We assets, man. So,
definitely.
I appreciate you. Dreamers Welcome Podcast. Y'all keep dreaming. We out.
Dreamers Welcome Podcast.